to me. I'll be seeing ya. Yeah, man.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm excited for this. This is our venture into the Crossroads. We are about to do a couple quests here. I think I kind of tracked a little bit. That was weird. All right, we have to rescue this Kodo. I think in my last video, Bango was very confused. How in the world do you lose a Kodo? But we did regardless. All right, so I remember this quest, and I thought this was a cool trip down memory lane because this quest sucks. And this guy right here, Tortusk, I'm pretty sure Tortusk was an elite, or at least a very challenging boss, and he would wreck you and kill you. I am almost positive that happened. This dude went down like a bag of bricks. It was so simple. I was a little bummed. I thought, you know, most of these questing zones and questing areas that I'm going back through and playing are exponentially more simple than what I remember, but it still leaves a little bit of like oh man, that stinks. Like, for example, I'm sure at some point I'm going to play an alliance character. I'm going to be in Elwyn Forest, and I'm going to go ahead and fight Hogger. I know that Hogger is not what Hogger was back in the day. So my first characters were actually Alliance. Not really sure how much detail I've gone into this. Bango was my first character that I really connected with. And the name Bango came from a server switch to the server Zul'jin. He originally started as Khan on the Blackwater Raiders, which I said in an earlier video. I said that I thought that I started on Bloodsail Buccaneers, but I was actually incorrect. I misremembered that. It was Blackwater Raiders. It was an RP PvP server. I started as Khan. Then when he was very short-lived, maybe level 20 or 30. And this was all classic. This is all original OG WoW. This is all vanilla WoW before TBC came out. And then a bunch of buddies that I knew were getting ready to play TBC, and so I transferred with them over to Zul'jin, and that's where Bango was born, because the name Khan was taken. And the name just, I don't know how it came about. I have no idea. Later in my life, I had a friend that used to say bingo, bango, bongo all the time. And I think in hindsight, I have equated it to that, but that friend was much later in my life than when I was playing vanilla WoW, so I really don't remember. So that's the actual origin story of Bango. He started as Khan, Khon, on Blackwater Raiders. A good buddy of mine that I went to high school with, his name's Casey. I'm sorry, a bunch of friends that I went to high school with had a friend named Casey, and I was really good friends with these guys, and I met Casey through them. I don't actually think he didn't actually go to my high school. He was Khan, and I would log in, and he had played an undead rogue, and every time I came in, he would do the classic Star Trek Khan thing. And we would play forever. We would play together. We would go back to like the older zones. We did STV together, so I guess we were like level maybe 30 or 40, and we would just get wrecked by the alliance that were there, or we would try and find low level and kill them. It was really fun. So that was a fun time. So that's the real origin story. And then when I transferred over to Zul'jin with some of those guys, it was kind of like, you know, friend groups were meeting up with other friend groups, and that kind of happened. I came into Bango on Zul'jin, and the rest is history. I played Bango for a long time. Loved it. Played him all the way up to 70 in the Burning Crusade, and raided Kara with him, did a lot of stuff with Kara, and then those friends kind of faded out, and a new crew was like, hey, let's play WoW, and they came from Alliance. They started fresh, so I started fresh with them, and then I played my Blood Elf Rogue, who I have until this day. That's the same one. So the Blood Elf Rogue that I'm playing right now main retail is the same Blood Elf rogue from the Burning Crusade. So that's cool. So Bango just kind of doesn't exist. So I'm trying to rebirth him. And here we go, full circle. I roll up at the Crossroads, one of the places that Bango spent, you know, hours playing. Bango was so much fun to play in that early WoW. Crossroads was packed. The PvP was incessant, non-stop. It was so much fun. Blackwater Raiders was a RP PvP guild, so it was even more fun because you would get crews that would get together and put all of their like RP guilds together, and they would like raid different towns and things in a very, you know, lore driven kind of mentality, you know, so that was a lot of fun. So thank you for going on that cool nostalgic drive. But here I am, here's Bango in 2026, back at the Crossroads, getting all my quests, kind of running around trying to figure things out. Everything kind of looks the same, feels the same. I do feel like, I know that I did Man Crick's quest. I do feel like Man Crick was in the Crossroads last time. I could be wrong though. I feel like Man Crick also, his quest also took you down to like the Thunder Lizards by the entryway. This guy's quest, we're gonna unfold it here in a second. His quest is not what I remember. This guy's quests, you used to have to jump on here and like run all the way to Thunderbluff. You had like a 30-minute timer, and you had to make it all the way with this elixir. Now it comes after you do all of the fungal spore quests, but that was a thing. That was one of the designs. So earlier quests were just, you know, very much like do this thing, do that. Here I made bank. I was pretty happy about this. I didn't open all. I went piece by piece, but I got all of my embossed leather gloves, sold all those things. So that ultimately funded my mount. I don't think that I'd be able to get my mount if I hadn't done this. So I was glad that I did that. I guess I'm just kind of figuring out, taking my bearings here, kind of figuring out what quests I want to do. It's all very different, and Barrens used to be monstrous. Barren, now it's split, right? Because of Cataclysm. You can see on the map when I open it up a couple times throughout the session, the map is, Barrens is split by the Cataclysm. There's a northern and a southern portion of Barrens. Not sure how I feel about it. Is it better or worse for the gameplay? I think it makes the zone tighter. They really had to redesign a lot of these quests because some of these quests would take you kind of all over, and you could. That was the reason you spent so long in some of these areas, was because the quests ultimately were kind of like poorly designed. I think something that's been kind of going viral lately. I didn't take damage. Look at that. Something that's been kind of going viral lately is Jeff Kaplan, one of the original WoW designers, mentioned something about how Green Hills of Stranglethorn was one of like the worst quests he ever designed, and that was the quest where you had to go pick up all the pages, and every 4 pages you would combine them. You would take him to, I think it was Nessingwary's camp. You would take it there, and you tried to build this book basically, and every mob had a chance of dropping. That quest was terrible. It was a poorly designed quest. And just thinking, just in general, the general mentality of the OG classic quests are interestingly designed. You know, here they're a lot tighter. Once they redesigned Cataclysm and they redesigned it, they took a lot of what they learned from TBC and Wrath, and they layered it in the original. Wow, I will say I know that this expansion and what I'm playing through now is not really Mists. I feel like what I'm playing through now is original Cataclysm stuff that I didn't really get a chance to kind of dig into. What I will say is a lot of this quest design was from what they learned, and they layered it in Cataclysm, and that really changed the feel of early WoW, and I think for the better, because now it matches more of the vibe and the rhythm of the current state of WoW. People still play retail WoW. They play it a ton. It's super popular. It's also open to a kind of a casual audience, so the things that were done here are really good. Hardcore WoW players can still go play vanilla, and they do. They play it immensely. You know, they play it all the time. So where am I at here? Here we go back to Orgrimmar. So this was a cool video. This was just an opportunity for me to kind of get my feet wet in the Crossroads, and I kind of take these spaces, repping the Dark Spear trolls. I kind of take these spaces, hey, this is a zone that I remember and I'm very nostalgic towards. I take that as a space of, I just kind of want to remember and revisit and live in that nostalgia. So these kind of episodes where Bango's not really doing a whole lot is an opportunity for me just to remember. And I think that that's really cool, because that's kind of what WoW and these online games give us an opportunity to do, just to sit and go, man, remember that? That was really fun. And I can still play and have a good time, but I can remember my boy, I don't remember his character name, Casey, in real life, right? This guy, who I haven't talked to in 30 years, not that long, but 20 some years. Don't really remember him, but I remember him yelling Khan every time he came. I remember trying our best to PvP Alliance and STV. I remember those things, and that was really cool. I remember all of that, and that's what these spaces do. And I think that's really important, to revisit the game, to enjoy that space of, hey, this is important and it can still be beautiful and important. So about to sit here and log. So thank you all for joining me on this awesome journey once again, and I will see you next time.